As a kid, I always was more into hands-on games. I like to play games where I was the one in control, getting my grubby hands all over everything. I didn't have very much money, so whenever my family would go to Goodwill, I would scour the media section, looking for video games. Because of this, I frequent the likes of Roller Coaster Tycoon, The Sims, and The Oregon Trail. Anyways, on one of these expeditions, I picked up what would become one of my most favorite games, SimCity 4. On January 14, 2003, Electronic Arts released the next installment in their city building series, SimCity 4. Maxis and EA had a winning formula, and this installment built on everything that SimCity 3000 did well. Gone with the old pseudo-isometric dimetric projection and sprite-based graphics from the previous entries, your city was now being rendered in glorious early 2000s 3D. But you'd be hard-pressed to tell the difference. It went on to become one of the top 10 best-selling games of 2003, and won several awards. But a 10-year-old me didn't really care about that. The thing that set it apart for me was the fun factor.
Okay. Yeah, I got a pretty big city here, you know. Just trying to build it up. I got the nice downtown area. And I love it. It's perfect. And, you know, I just like how I set up Chase Bank downtown so I can get capitalistic influences to come down here and help me out, you know, make a quick buck. You know, it's just all great. And, you know, I think I'm gonna get Wells Fargo. What the fuck? What the fuck is that? What? Why the fuck is there a robot? Who? No! Not Chase Bank! Not Wells Fargo! Shit! Oh!
There were some features that were missing from the game, but that's where mods came into play. You had your essentials, like Buggy's extra cheats, or you could give yourself so much money that it crashed the game. You could make your computer crawl with the realism mod. EA had a gem in their hands, and I couldn't wait for the next entry.
Okay, here we go. What? Why the fuck are they going? What? Why the fuck are you going that way? Just... Why are you going up the hill? Take a car, goddammit! Why are you walking up the hill? Oh my god!
SimCity 2013 is a garbage heap of a game. First of all, EA made it so you had to be connected to the internet to play the game, and even if you were connected to the internet, the server would have a queue time of 30 minutes to an hour at launch. EA's excuse was that they used player numbers from a closed, invite-only beta to estimate how many servers they would need. The game was laced with bugs, and plagued with a ton of different issues. But hey, it got a 7 out of 10 from IGN. EA has all but given up on their SimCity line of games, leaving a void, until 2015, when a gift from the gods descended upon us, granted by a little-known Finnish studio by the name of Colossal Order. Cities Skylines is widely considered to be the pinnacle of city simulation games. It's even receiving DLC to this very day. So this leaves us with what I consider to be the holy trinity of city building games. However, there's one that I think stands out from the rest, possibly just because of nostalgia, but I'll try my best to convince you. SimCity 4's scale was massive. Unlike Cities Skylines, where you're restricted to a relatively small area to build your city, SimCity 4 was capable of supporting whole regions, with tons of cities dotted around. Nothing currently compares to the absolute monstrosity that is SimCity 4's map. And with a tweak, you could even have a nearly infinite map available at your disposal. Additionally, it has one of the best online communities I have ever seen. I used to spend hours watching YouTube videos of people sprawling cities, and try to put my own spin on their ideas. And those communities never really died. You can still hop over to the subreddit, r/SimCity4, which has a small but very active community with 7,300 members. And coming back to the modding scene, there are hundreds of ways you could customize your city in any way you'd like. I think that the reason that SimCity 4's community was so good was because of nostalgia. When I play this game, it brings me back to a simpler time when I had no responsibilities. I was just some prepubescent kid floating my way through middle school. At the time, I thought I was on top of the world, and I guess in a way I was. All I had to worry about was which Pokemon card I was going to get when I bought a pack. But, like SimCity 4, I may just be selectively choosing what the best parts of my childhood were. It's like when I pulled out my old Nintendo 64, which I remember having super realistic graphics back in the day. Now, seeing it in the present, Link's arms and Ocarina of Time are chunky, a product of their time. SimCity 4 acts as an example for the city simulation genre as a whole. Games like this benefit from their simplicity and attention to detail. In the end, they just have to know what makes them so good in the first place.